So this is episode number 10, and I'm here with Chase Davis.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty well. A little pumped to end. Today is actually the last day of classes for us at CFC, so we're like, hey, unleash the tank and just like let summer rip.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I know that you've had ups and downs, both with school and without. So like, let's dive into it.
Yeah, so the big stuff going on with school was basically the school. I was running Amazon FBA out of my dorm room, and then the school, it's against the code of conduct or some specific code that the school has that you can't run a business out of the dorm room, which, I mean, I understand why they have that policy.
Business versus business.
Exactly. That's the exact reason they said. So I understand why they have it, but at the same time, the level they took it to was just the frustrating part because it was a suspension. What was it called? It was going to be similar to a suspension, but it ended up just dissolving after a couple months. I kept meeting with the school, but they were just upset that I was running a business out of the dorm room, business versus business. Exactly. It's so frustrating, but I mean, it happens. It was a frustrating point, but I also helped carry my business further because then I had to get a 3PL out in Montana, but it kind of sped up the process in business, and I learned how to manage that, and a ton of other challenges and opportunities and experience came from that, so that was good. I mean, yeah, I'm curious, though, what episode is this for the podcast?
This is episode number 10.
Number 10, okay, so big 10, hit double digits.
Heck yeah.
There we go. What got you into starting these?
So, do you know Guy Raz?
Guy Raz. I probably, if you showed me a photo, yeah.
He's interviewed Herb Keller, the founder of Specialized Bicycles,
Okay.
and then Damon John for his clothing company.
Yeah.
I used to listen to that when I was 12 or 13.
Really?
Yeah. When he first started off, and now he's like taken off. And
that's sick.
I even reached out to him in September, and his agent was like, "Hey, do you have a budget or everything for him to come out?" I'm like, "I don't have a budget." Like I was asking MJ, and I'm like, "Do we have a budget?" Because a friend of my dad's, he does sales. He has a product book, and he's like, I'll teach you because he's worked for Intuit and all these big companies.
Okay.
He's like, you have to pay me to come out. And I'm like, shit. But even MJ, he's like, we don't have money. I'm like, I want you to come because you're gonna give us advice, but I'm like,
exactly.
We only have $1,000 budget. Yeah. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I was gonna ask, what's different between that and Babson? Mm-hmm. Like if I was to go start a company in Babson, because Babson's all about entrepreneurship. So I'm like, they're not gonna kick you out of your dorm at Babson.
Exactly. That's frustrating. He didn't come on though. I mean,
yeah.
I understand like what he's saying. Like he charges to come on the podcast because especially if you're somebody at his level, it makes sense. But I mean, it's frustrating that he wouldn't make like an exception for somebody.
Oh, 100%.
Rolling the dice, but I mean, you can always keep reaching out to him.
100%.
Be feeling good.
I was asking even like MJ, and I texted it in the group me, and they're like, "Well, reach out to the people at this department, the communications department." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, just put me in touch." And like, I even went over to Bell South and the guy for the club, and he's like, the president is in charge of the budget and everything. Like, I was really mad. I was like, damn it, I just really want to do it.
MJ is one of the leaders of Founders Club.
He is, but he's leaving in May.
Damn. Is he graduating?
Yeah, he's a senior.
Oh, wow. Okay. But yeah, what got you going down your entrepreneurship path? What got you?
So September was 4 shows. I did a classic rock podcast and then 2 others, jazz and then old time radio show. I tried to launch the 2 others. I stuck with the classic rock and then the entrepreneurship podcast. Okay. But this one has been getting more traction. Yeah. So I'm like, let's stick with it. And then I was on the phone with, Jack Hill.
Jack Hill, yeah.
You know his brother? Luke Hill? I was on the phone with him last night.
Shit, yeah, you gotta get him on.
Hell yeah.
He was on Jack's podcast, and that was what I did before shaking hands.
Well, he was telling me, he's like, I run a company that does production, and he's like, all right, you need a light, you need 2 phones, you need a camera. I'm like, because I reached out to somebody, and they're like, well, we charge $13.25 an hour. Damn. Well, versus where Jack is, it's like $60 an hour. Damn. So like just to bring the camera in, because that's all I need is the visual aspect of it.
So right now you just have the audio, not the visual.
Yeah.
I think that will make a large difference for you. What I've seen, like all the podcasts I listen to, I don't know everyone you listen to, but I listen to a lot of like Andrew Tate, Justin Waller, Luke Belmont.
I do Impulsive a lot.
Impulsive, yeah. So I'll listen to Impulsive when somebody specific I want to hear comes on, such as my guy, who's the guy from Shark Tank,
Mark Cuban comes on.
Yeah, I love Mark Cuban's episode, or George Janko when he was on there, but.
Or like when Dana White comes on.
Exactly. Like, people like that, when people who have the similar beliefs or influence that I appreciate, or even if I don't appreciate, I'll come and listen to what they have to say, or not even come and listen to what they have to say, but just having that visual aspect makes it so much more entertaining.
Yeah.
Because even when I work, I don't know about you, but I'll listen to a podcast in the gym, in the shower, or like when I'm actually at the computer working, because I can't listen to music. I can only listen to music for so long just because it gets so tedious. I don't like hearing a story build, so I'll listen to audiobooks as well. But I mean, a podcast with a visual aspect just makes such a difference.
I mean, so what I did is I invested in a $500 use like a Canon EOS. It was a Canon like EOS like a 50 series. But my problem was that it wouldn't connect with my phone or the computer, and I bought a stand too, and it was like $4.95 when I bought it off of eBay.
Does it not just run by itself with like a battery, and then you can when you mean connect?
Yeah, like so the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth connecting it. Because I filmed it before in here, but it like won't connect.
Can you use a wire to connect it?
I have, but it doesn't really register into the MacBook. So that's why I run into having to hire somebody else to.
Are you able to get that money back?
I bought it in February or March. The guy, like, I bought it out of like Florida or whatever from.
Damn,
like, there's a lot of people I wanted like the stand and everything else, and I did spend like $50 on a stand. And even Jack yesterday, he's like, "Yeah, you need to go buy 2 stands, camera light." Like,
it's an investment.
It is.
You're clearly have the passion for the podcast, and you love the interview and everything. So. I mean, just keep going at it. It's frustrating. But.
I mean, even like I was messaging with Jose, and he's like, "Read this by Buffett. Read the Rich Man of Babylon." I'm like, "Tell me what book to start with."
Yeah.
Like, because I'm a person who's like, I don't mean to sound like a brat or anything, but I'm like, don't waste my time. Tell me what's going to be the most productive use of my time, and let me get to it. And I was even, because I want to do vinyl online. The vinyl records, sourcing them online, taking the eBay platform and connecting it so you use AI and are like, hey, this store has my record, and making sure that the store actually has it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And like sourcing it. And part of me is like, do I reach out now because I'm still in the cycle of reaching out to Jack? And like I sent him a note like last week and was like, hey, I know your show does all this, but he's like, the older people are. Jose was like, all the older people they value their time, so they're gonna start charging him. Like, okay, but I'm like, there has to be somebody who's not gonna be fixated on the money. Like, because when you're older, you value your time, but if you've built an empire, you're like, why am I gonna fix on money? Like, if you're 65 or 80, you've already built up an empire. So why are you gonna be like, $100, kid? Give me $100.
How'd they go reaching out to a Jose? How did that go down?
Well, it started off with the follower. So after you came on, when he was there, and you and Graham and whoever else was there, I know you guys were talking
at the Founders Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I sent him a LinkedIn message, and then like February or March, he sends me a follow request on Instagram. I follow up, and I'm like, hey. And so we hop on a call. He sends me his number, doesn't pick up. So I'm like, all right, I gotta call this guy on Instagram, and he like shows me all the kids' work and everything. And then I like send him a note and like, hey, it's great and whatever else. And then it's kind of gone into this. But part of me is like, I have this, like even yesterday I came up with an idea for refurbished backpacks. I'm like, I just keep dumping them, and I'm like, what works and what doesn't work? Because I don't want to be, dead where you put money into them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like, let's try it out and let's see what works.
So you're reaching out to Jose to get his professional opinion, or you're reaching out to him to gain like an overview of like a basis of an entrepreneur?
So a little bit of
specific questions or overview type of questions? A
little bit of both, because what I want to do is I want to have this, hopefully if it'll work.
Yeah.
Because I'm already on Spotify and Apple. I just started on like May or April 13th.
Does it cost money to be on Apple Music?
I'm on Apple Podcasts, 19 a year, but it's 21 plus tax. It goes through my dad's account. I'm like, oh. Well, he texted me a note. He's like, what is this? Is this you? I'm like, it is me. Yeah, you found out. But that hasn't even got traction yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
To start, exactly. You gotta
It's a
start somewhere.
start, but I'm like, when you put in like 3 or 4 months worth of work, and then you look at it and you're like, all right, this thing should have already taken off by the ground.
Mm.
And then part of it's like just being patient and being like, all
Yeah,
right, let's just let it grow and not quit while it's doing its thing. But
yeah. You gotta understand that it could take 10 years sometimes, but then overnight, like when people talk like overnight success, when it was like 10 years in the making, it won't just happen. You have to devote years towards just the space or just the realm of whatever you're focusing on before anything actually starts running. A good example would just be there's a content creator named Sam Millsap. Like I don't know if you're familiar with him,
not entirely.
but he just started as like a fitness influencer who like had a really good physique and just posted content. And then over a year, he like transitioned towards like coaching for influencers. And now he lives out in Miami, multi-millionaire, extremely successful guy. But I mean, all that would have not been possible if he didn't have the previous 3 to 5 years of just posting gym content. So for 4 years and it hasn't gained traction, it probably will go another 4 months before you gain like crazy traction. Like just for Jack's podcast,
Yeah.
He's on episode 50 and he has a lot of money.
Or either that or I think he got up to 52.
Oh, he might be on 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was Monday. So yeah,
No, that's good.
yeah, he's on 52 episodes now, but I was on the phone with him the other day, and a video he posted for his 51st or 50th video, whatever it was, that one video gained him 1,000 subscribers overnight. It like took a couple hours, and he gained 1,000 subscribers. But all 49 episodes leading up to that, it was just a slow up, slow down. So nothing really took off. It's just like that for you. It's going to take 1,000,000 episodes before you have 1,000,001. That one episode is going to be all it takes for you to get that traction to get you going. I mean, 4 months is a good amount of time to invest.
It is.
But it will, I mean, it will start getting going more. But I mean, you said you mentioned like some of these issues or some of these concerns to Jose, or what was?
Well, I told him about wanting to expand into the digital or the visual content.
Mm.
And he's like, all right, what's your budget? I forget his name. I can pull his name up. There's one guy there's like 1.1 million followers. And he's like, where's your team? Where's your budget? Like, out of the blue, this guy messages me. And I'm like, what? Like, he lives in California. I forget his name, but he's like, go to the gym, do this, do that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, is this supposed to be happening or what? But
yeah, wait, what's his name? I'm curious. So he hit you up randomly?
Yeah, it is Dan Mark.
Interesting. Yeah. So what was he saying?
He just asked. He's like, cool, couple of irons on the fire, revenue, team size, question mark. His first message was like, hey Spencer, appreciate the follow. Are you here for the videos or looking to grow your biz? Once I sent him the note, he's like, great, sounds great. Tell me about the business. What stage are you in? Revenue size. See if I can help.
Yeah.
And then another one was like follow up because I didn't respond.
Yeah.
So he's like, Spencer. But I'm like, whoa. And even when I was working on my paper, the leader of the Gambini crime boss, you know him if you heard him. He's well known. He was on the School of Hard Knocks.
Okay.
He was talking like about God and everything, and I'm like, because he's like talking about being in jail when he was in solitary confinement, and he's like, I found this religion. I'm like, yeah. And even yesterday, it was like,
so he was preaching faith to you.
That, but also like his business of being because he went to like medical school and got drug in through his parents because his dad went to jail. So he's like, all right, I gotta get in the mob business and everything else. But yeah.
And you were messaging with that guy? That's pretty cool.
With the guy who just messaged me with Dan.
Okay, yeah.
He initiated the follow. Same thing like with Devin. When Devin initiated with me. Even that, I'm like, I don't mean to throw smoke, but I'm like, the first time, like, my sister looked into it and was like, well, this is a cat scam. I'm like, okay. And, like, I wanted him to come on. He's like, it'll be $7.89 for a 90-minute. I'm like, okay.
$7.89.
Yeah, like, for 90 minutes of his time.
So he was saying it'd be $80 basically for 90 minutes?
So, yeah, $7.89 for 90 minutes.
Okay.
To come on. I'm like, all right.
That's an interesting number. But
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've had like a good amount. It seems like you've had a strong sort of, not team, but a strong sort of network over the past few months of people that have like been in and out of your life.
Yeah.
Who do you think's been the most influential for you?
I mean, if it's collective, I would say the Fetish Club by like
Yeah,
networking with people. I've had Dave Hanley on.
that's it. I think I was listening to some of the podcasts
Yeah.
you had up. I think it might have
And
been
then Willem Helfgott, you know who that is?
basketball, right?
Honey. He does Honey.
Oh, honey, yeah. I was actually talking with him the other day about.
He's gonna go move
Yeah,
down to I think Cancun
that's
after
it.
break
Yeah, that's it.
for like masters or whatever.
That's dope.
It is. But I think what I was gonna ask is because I know you and your three other roommates are like into business. So I'm sure you know what this is. You become the five people that you surround yourself
Mhm.
with. How does that kind of play into that?
It plays to a T. I mean, if you hang out with four losers, you're gonna be the fifth loser.
Yeah.
So you hang out with four millionaires, you'll be the fourth millionaire. He puts in a really good analogy to where if you're in a house and you're in that house for not let's say 1 year, so 12 months. So you're in that house for 1 year, and the four other guys are in that house that talk about ice cream. They're going to talk about other stuff, but by the end of the year, you're going to know what flavors are good, the most popular flavors, how to make ice cream. You're going to know the ins and outs of making ice cream if you live with these people for a year. So the point of that is, even if you don't directly do anything based around who you hang out with, they have a strong influence on you through what they talk about. So, I mean, your environment is entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
people who are money driven and have the same values and same passions. That will take you to a whole nother level and it would excel you to be those people you want to be. So, such as like the Miami effect. Have you heard of that?
I haven't,
So
no.
the Miami effect is like, oh, I was making $20,000 a month. I moved down to Miami. Now I make $50,000. What that's basically saying is like your environment shapes you and changes you because it reorientates your mind. So you might perceive something as XYZ instead of ABC, but changing your environment, you might see something as ABC, and you might be able to see stuff in a whole different perspective. So what that basically means is whoever you hang out with will be who you are. You might only pull small parts from them, but you want to make sure you're only hanging out with positive, influential, driven, successful individuals, or not even physically successful, mentally successful. Yeah, not physically, I mean financially successful. You want to make sure you're with just people who are down the right path so that you can place yourself in line. Because if they're all going on this train towards success,
100%.
you want to be on that train. So
You don't want to be the person who's slacking off. He's like, well, I'm going to the frat party on Saturday and I'm staying up until 12.
exactly. I think it's all about balance. That's something I've learned in the past few months, especially. And going back to Jose for a minute, Jose's such a strong impact on me personally in the past few months. And the most important takeaway I've gained from him is to forget about physical objects and focus more on relationships. That could be a romantic relationship. That could be a personal relationship. That could be a friendship. But the most important thing in this life at the end of the day isn't nice watches.
And it's not like all the nice cars.
Exactly. Like, I do still like that stuff, and I
Yeah.
still do want that stuff. But if it came down to what I really want, has always been freedom. And I think Jose's brought that up. He's brought that up more, and now it's kind of arisen in me a lot more because I've always been about freedom. But now what I strive for is more having the freedom to do what I want and not so much the social media glory. I care more about, can I go get this? Can I buy this? Can I take care of this person?
Yeah.
Can I go do what I want when I want? So,
And I also, not to cut you off, but I think part of it is like, I've heard people who said, if I was to lose everything tomorrow, I wouldn't care about the cars or the house or this or that.
exactly.
Which I'm like, you know what? It's great that everybody wants the Lamborghini and this or that, but I'm like, what's it gonna do to you?
Exactly.
Meaning, because you see, I don't know if you've heard this, but you see like entrepreneurs who are like, I have what I want, but I'm not happy. So I'm like, why are you gonna go chase after it?
Exactly.
You're just gonna be depressed, the same person that you were before.
Exactly. 100% agree.
And
what do you value? What's the point of you spending all this time networking, connecting, putting all this effort towards your own podcast and your own businesses? Like, what do you want?
I mean,
Strive for?
the hope is that most people listening are like a little bit of WTF, but they're like, what is this?
Okay.
Meaning, because everybody now, we consume social media, which this is a double-edged sword. I see it as a positive, but a negative. Meaning, well, because the way it's been created is it's an algorithm, and so people blame it like Gary Vee. He's like everybody looks at it and is like, well, the algorithm is screwing me over. But then I see it as a positive for like launching a business or making money. I see it as the positive, and then the negative is we spend 6 hours a day on it, and yet that doesn't allow us to be productive. So like if we want to go launch a business, for instance, and if what we're on our phone, the business isn't going to go take off. It's just going to be on level one. So it needs to be able to scale. So like part of it is controlling yourself and understanding that, hey, this app is great, but it's not going to get me to where I want. So like if I'm on 3 hours on TikTok, those 3 hours I could be reading a book about Richard Branson being like, hey, here's his story. Here's how I can get where I want.
So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that to a T. But what are your goals? Like, what do you want out of life?
I mean, honestly, with anything, you want to have your parents well off. You don't want to be corporate job. I mean, I honestly, like, I even thought about this. I'm like, you know what? It'd be nice to come back here, but I'm like, I don't know if I need regimen or not. Yeah, because
What do you mean by regimen? Like a routine?
a routine, that's what I work well with, and then also accountability.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, we get up whenever we want. Our parents aren't there, so I'm like, you know what? It has to be set.
Yeah.
Because like even eating for me, I'm like, okay, it'll be 8 o'clock, and I want to have had dinner. It's like shit. Now I gotta eat, and then I start to feel like I start to go in and out and like dizziness, and like I gotta eat.
Yeah.
Like whereas if it's set, you don't have to worry about that. So it's like, all right, dinner's at 6 o'clock. That way every day it's not like, oh, now it's on a different time schedule.
Yeah.
It's like within that routine. And like same thing with wake up times. Because it helps you get into a circadian rhythm where your body's like, all right, we're waking up at the same time. It's not 8:30 one day, 6:30 another day. Your body's accustomed to it, so it's natural, and so you can wake up and not feel groggy or tired, and go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
So it seems like routine is what will carry you to that next level, especially
Yeah.
for you. Do you wake up at a specific time and your day structured to a T, or do you kind of like how does your day look usually? Like what does an average day for you look like?
Average day for me.
A good day, like a positive day, of course.
Well, so like yesterday was get on the phone. That wasn't planned, and then a matter of reworking because I had Emily. I had Emily. Emily was gonna come on.
Emily, what's her last name?
Oh shit! Now you're making me look.
Is she a teacher or is it a student?
No, she's she's one of the guests that Jack had on. Yeah.
Okay.
And she recently got engaged, and so she's like, "Hey, I can't do Tuesday at 2 o'clock," and I'm like, "All right." And I was like, "Hey, can we do today?" And then I had to work on my paper, so I'm like, "I can't do it. Could we do Friday?" But getting back to your question, normally like today I woke up at like 8 o'clock because I wanted to be at the writing lab by 11, and I had to go ship a book off because I don't know if I've told you this, but I go to the public library.
Yeah.
The one in Charleston. They get free books.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
They literally have a free nook in their library where you can take as many books as you want and they won't charge you.
Yeah.
And I like posted it on eBay, and I'm like, all right, ship this out or whatever.
You're selling books on eBay now. Yeah, I love it.
I did, and then I looked at the numbers. It's like $4 for shipping.
Damn.
Like just for the label itself, it's like $4, and so I get like 22 cents to my account.
Damn. I mean, you could probably get more high profit books.
Yeah.
I mean, it's range from 50 cents upwards of
100%.
1,000. So you just gotta find the right ones.
Like I even still have this. Like I have like 2 things of brand new CDs that I found at the library, and like a few things that are like brand new wrapped.
So you're just listing them on eBay and waiting for them to sell.
And if anybody gets them, yeah.
Yeah.
That not I press the promote button and it promotes them, but I'm like,
okay.
Like even on my birthday,
Yeah.
I picked up a brand new pair of rainbow sandals.
Okay.
I listed them, but those sandals a piece, they're $50 a piece, so they're $100. And the woman, she's like, this person didn't know what size they were because they don't even say what size they are.
Yeah.
And she's like, but they fit my husband. And I'm like, okay. She leaves me a negative review. I'm like, okay, whatever. But getting back to your question, I try to get work done because like by 5 o'clock or 6 or 7 o'clock, I hit my wall and I'm like, I can't do work.
Yeah.
And so then I try to go to bed by like 12 or whatever.
Okay.
It's whatever time my roommate leaves the room. Then I'm like, let's go the fuck to bed, because he'll stay up and then he'll bring his girlfriend over, and I'm like, I need my private space. Meaning like I need the quiet space. Like my problem is when you don't do your dishes and I have to walk through that shit.
Yeah. I feel that.
It's like a war zone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but on another note, let's flip the question.
Yeah. Like where's my routine?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll be up on a typical day, I'll be up at 8 a.m. I'll go to bed at like 9 p.m. and I'll be up at 4 a.m. And I'll just be from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'll be grinding it. But with life and how it is right now, it's a little more difficult to do that just because of how stuff is. But I mean, when you want to talk about growth, that's the quickest way to growth is just waking up at 4 a.m. and grinding in those extra morning hours. Because everyone's like, oh, it's so typical. But like that's the thing. Being successful isn't that hard. It's just doing the right things and taking the right steps. So if you're doing the right stuff once a week, you'll be successful. It might just take you a lot longer. But if you do the right steps every single day and you do what you're supposed to do, even when you don't want to do them, it will carry you further and further. Like recently, I just started doing a jujitsu, and I've been doing it for about almost a month now. And like itself in what jujitsu is and like the technique that everything goes into it, it's been extremely like rigorous on the body because I just keep getting choked out by like guys who've been doing this for years. And there's like days where I don't want to go, but I'll still go just because I know one, it's good for my body, good for my mind, and it's also like about the accountability, like you were saying. If I go even on the days I don't want to go, then it will just progress me further. So it's about doing that every single day. But yeah, my routine right now is up at 8 a.m., then up at 8 a.m., call till 9, and then from 9, now that school's over, I just kind of work. Morning routine will take about 15 to 30 minutes. I try to be quick with it. I just like to get up, brush my teeth, shower, crack a Celsius on Celsius. Celsius is a cheat code in my opinion. For me, that works. I'll drink about 4 to 600 milligrams a day. It's a lot, but it's what keeps me on my toes. It's weird. I feel asleep when I don't take it some days, or I feel cloudy, or it's hard for me to focus. I think that's part of my ADHD. Drinking a Celsius or two, it's like Adderall. It's like Adderall for me. I can just get stuff done. But yeah, I just work throughout the majority of the day whenever I don't have class, and then I'll hang out with my girlfriend later at night, or just hang out with her throughout the day. So just balancing relationships, friendships, work, family. It is difficult, but you just got to make sure you stay on top of like what you're supposed to actually do, and just even when you don't want to do it, it's better to do a little bit, even if it's like stuff that doesn't fully progress you. Doing a little bit today is still better than not doing anything at all. So
Now, how is the ADHD kind of helped you? Now, for me, I know that it's like if I have sugar,
yeah,
I bounce up and down.
yeah,
But part of me is like, I don't want to take my medicine.
yeah. I feel that.
Ever since I was in high school,
You take Adderall to help focus, or
I take
something.
I take something. I take a 3 milligram, and then I take an afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since college, I'm like, I don't want to take this shit.
No, why not?
I just don't like. Ever since high school and ever since weekends, I just don't feel myself when I take that shit.
Yeah.
Like it.
Different, or how do you?
So what it does is it slows my brain down, and so part of me is like, why am I gonna take it? Like, if you want to see me, don't see me on my medicine. Like, why do I need to be looped up on medicine for you? That, but almost like even now in college, like I had to make like a $5 copay for medicine.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's keep that in, and then if I want to go to maritime school, you have to be a year off of medicine.
Yeah, so
it is. But even learning from it now, I'm like, I have to, like, because I'll want to shift from one thing to another, and so I'm like, I need to keep my attention to this. Like, let's get an assignment done, or let's focus on this. Like, even some people, I'll get. Like, even I was reaching out to a girl on Monday who literally lives in Annapolis. She's like, okay, yeah. Because I was looking at who popped up on my feed, and I was typing them a note and being like, hey, good luck with finals and everything else, and thanks for noticing this. And I also noticed that we live in the same area, so would you want to grab a coffee or whatever?
Yeah.
And some
people.
Is she
our age, or is she older?
She's our age. She's a freshman.
Yeah. Is she also pretty business driven, or are you trying to like slide in there?
Well, I'm trying to slide in there, but she was like, hey, good luck with the podcast. But I will say this, though. When I launched because I put it on my Instagram story, she was the first person to show up on my feed. I'm like,
I need something.
Yeah, percent.
Could call that like a hot lead.
I know.
Call them up. Make sure.
Hell yeah. I was even reaching out to Anna Series. She follows me, and I was like, hey, because her account is like Cape Cod, California, and Charleston. I was asking ChatGPT, I'm like, so what do I send her? And it's like, well, I don't really know where she lives. I'm like,
yeah. And
she saw it, I'm like, not just that, but I'm like, I want to be respectful, but part of me is like, when you send a note to somebody and they look at it, I'm like, first of all, I sent that out of my time, and so I'm like, the least thing you can do is just like respond to it and be like, hey, that's great, you too, or whatever. Because that's the same thing like with girls when you meet them, or whenever when you send them a note and they don't look at it, I'm like, I just see it as like disrespectful. I'm like, hey,
So like they kind of don't even acknowledge.
like even with a friend of mine who goes to Christopher Newport, he'll look at my messages, but he won't even respond. And I'm like, great job on volunteering because he plays on the soccer team. And
Yeah,
I'm sending you messages and trying to reconnect with people from high school, but I'm like, you see it, but you don't respond.
interesting.
I'm like, WTF? But
Exactly.
so you're from Arlington, right?
Yeah, Arlington, Virginia. Yeah,
What part?
like right in Arlington, Virginia, right outside. Area's pretty nice. It's just not really where I want to be.
Yeah.
I got friends there, so it's fun. But I mean, I have a question for you though. What do you feel like your top three like values are? Like, what do you feel is important for others to know that can be that like life changing sort of thing?
So is this from like a personal, or is this just like as an overall from like a individual for like this is what you value?
Let's do a personal and then personal. What that means, like three main personal values for you, and then three main personal business values.
So business, let's say organization is key.
Yep.
So that also carries into personal communication, no matter what. And then I would say being open minded,
Yeah.
regardless.
Okay.
Business, you also have to make sure that you're growing.
Yeah.
And then like balancing life like with family.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, your family is kind of the people who raised you.
Yeah. What is?
And so if you're just like, let's say if I cut my parents out of my life and was like, I don't want to talk to my parents or whatever and was business focused, I'm not saying that they're bad, but I'm like if your parents died tomorrow, you'd be like, all right, shit, now I gotta show up to their funeral. And then you'd be like, damn, now I have to do it myself, but then part of it's like,
Yeah.
kind of, because like when your parents get older, you have to be like, all right, you have to value your time more. Like if your parents have ALS or dementia, then you have to be like, all right, gotta drop the business and focus on my parents
Yeah.
before they go. Yeah.
What about personal? What three personal values do you have?
Communication is key for me. Organization, because that's my mom and I are like very organized. And then I would say hard work. Hard work, but also generosity. I don't know if you do this a lot, but whenever I go somewhere, I'll open the door for people, and they always say thank you.
Of course, yeah.
It doesn't have to be. There doesn't have to be that return reciprocal, but it has to be at least you acknowledge somebody. Like I watch Scott Galloway a lot, and he's like, all right. He's like, girls look at people who they don't have, there's no like return reciprocal.
Yeah.
Meaning like if you hold the door open for somebody, you don't want something in return. You're just doing it because you feel that it's a good thing to do, like a good daily deed or whatever.
Exactly. There's a philosopher, one of like the three main ones. I can't remember his name. But what you're saying, like, oh, you do it is like you're doing an action with no return. But this philosopher's theory, which I firmly believe and I stand by as well, is every action you do, the door open for somebody,
Yeah.
some type of positive reassurance back to yourself. And I mean, you can spend a moment and think about,
Yeah.
oh wait, about this. At the end of the day, there's still some type of positive reassurance towards yourself that you do something. But yeah, that's just a point onto that. But, I mean, how do you balance friendships and business? Like, how do you break up your time? Unless you guys are all on targeting the same path or going on the same project, can be extremely difficult.
And then what happens if you get ditched?
Exactly. So how do you view that? How do you view relationships and friendships when it comes to breaking up your time?
So I don't really view it as breaking up time. I mean, I'm sure I should, but ever since junior or sophomore year of high school, when I kind of got used by people, I've been a little antsy because like when you see people use you, you're like, all right, do you see friendship as an actual like a personal thing, meaning like what it's intended to be, or is it like, hey, give me this, and this is what I want in return? Meaning like, is it actually a decent friendship, or is it like, give me the answers to the homework, and then I ditch you, and we never see each other again?
So is that how you were used back in high school?
Yeah, that's how I was used in sophomore year, and I've just been like a little I would say a little weary of people because I'm like, it's a matter of trust. You don't want to put your 100% confidence into people without you really knowing who they are, because you don't know if they're gonna abuse you or if they're gonna misuse your trust. I'm not saying that everybody is like that, but I'm like, you have to be careful with who you trust, because I don't know, your friend could turn into an enemy and stab you in the back or whatever, and you're like, didn't see it coming until it's too late.
Exactly. It can be different for natives, but I mean, kind of just got to handle stuff as it comes. And then
100%. So I know that this might be a little early, but what are you gonna do after college? Either if you continue college or not.
yeah,
Because I know I don't mean to jump on you, but I know that in September you were kind of iffy about college and continuing.
yeah. So it's a good opportunity to be around. It's the only opportunity that I'll have to be around other individuals, this many individuals who are my own age. But I also view it as a good time to learn in a more overall sense. I learned a lot of overall information outside of school, and I would say probably more outside of school than school specifically. But I think school has its values, and it also comes down to just like the specific situation I am in with like scholarships and other stuff. I wouldn't want to jeopardize that. Not even jeopardize that, but I wouldn't want to give that because I know my family's helped a lot with getting all that, and my parents are. I'll do whatever I want. However, if my parents are against it, I won't do it. For the most part, it really depends what we're talking about. But for school, it comes down to I truly don't want to be in school.
Yeah, neither do I.
Exactly. However, but my parents want me to stay in school. And at the end of the day, my parents have got me to where I am. I've done a lot on my own and they've helped me they've helped me through a lot. But if they want me to stay in school,
you can't go against the wishes of your parents.
Also the network. I've found some amazing people through Charleston and I've had some amazing opportunities, but yeah, I'm just going to stay in school and run both. And if there's a time where I can't do business and stay in school, that's usually because I'm wasting my time somewhere else. But I mean, I'm a business major. It's not like I got a crazy amount of work to do, like a chemistry or a doctorate degree or something,
Yeah.
or a medical one. So I'm just focused on that. But yeah, so for right now, I'm just staying in school. But if you weren't in school right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
Shit, I know exactly what I'd be doing. I'll be cleaning buses.
Cleaning buses. Why is that?
So I had a summer job last year, and it didn't pay well. Either that or I'd be trying things out and seeing what works. Because my grandfather didn't go to college. He was a farmer and worked with his hands. And I thought, hey, maybe I should do trades versus going to college. And I still think that to this day. But I'm like, is it worth it or not? Because like if I go out and be a plumber or whatever, I can charge you $100 on the back of a truck to change a pipe. And even my thing with school is like, teach me what I need to know. Don't teach me all this bullshit.
No, I agree.
Like high school used to have trades. They threw that shit out the window when computers came. I'm like, teach me how to do roofing. Teach me how to do plumbing, electrical, and woodworking. I don't need to go pay somebody else how to do that.
What are you doing for business right now?
I'm doing supply chain management.
Okay, so what does that look like? Or how does that work?
So that's unfinished material to the consumer. So let's say you order a car, gets built in Germany, gets put on a boat for 3 to 6 months. Like let's say it comes down to here, and then it gets put on a truck, and then it goes to BMW, the dealership, and then you buy it, and that's kind of how it works. Or it could also be like a container.
Outside of school, though, what business stuff are you focused on, or what business stuff are you looking into? I mean, obviously the podcast, are on here, but what else have you looked into, or not even looked into, but what have you done in the past that's business oriented outside of school, and then what are you doing now?
So when I was 12, we went to, what did we go to? We went to there's a concert in Virginia, upstate, or in New York, and we went to that, and I used to charge a friend of my mom's, like, $5 because I used to run around and fill her cup up with water. Like, $5.
Yeah.
And then, my neighbors paid me $100 to water their plants. Well, because my old neighbor, he's a ATF, or he's a ICE agent, and so he used to, like, because Maryland has, like, people, like, smuggled cigarettes in, and so you, like, catch them and shit.
Interesting. Yeah. What business stuff are you doing right now? So,
I have invested $100, one-time investment into high dividend stocks, but I'm looking into Allison Transmissions and then XP Logistics, because their stocks have done well. But I'm also looking into Pebble Beach, and then I need to look into data centers. Golf, but they also own, like, hotels. Okay. And so I'm also looking into data centers.
Okay. Well, so what are you trying to do with all this?
I'm trying to invest it into stocks. Okay. But I also saw Jordan Peterson, or not Jordan Peterson, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, Jordan.
He's like, just invest your money into a V5 or a VOO account.
Yeah, one of those like
high dividend paying or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So one of those. What are you doing to generate money? Because I mean, stocks are good, but if you have a business making $10,000, it's like that's good. So we invest the money. So what are we doing to get the money? And for you, what have you looked into, or like have you looked into drop shipping? I know you're doing the eBay stuff.
Yeah.
What else have you touched into, or what have you found for you?
I did vinyl on eBay,
Okay.
but like the one over here on King Street, they'll charge you $200 for 7 vinyl. And like,
200.
yeah. Well, because most of them are like $30 to $40 a piece.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of getting this.
Not really, not a discount, because most of them will sell for like $5 on eBay.
So
you're losing money.
damn. So are you trying to like sell those too? Or?
I'm trying to do that, but I have like a brand new Public Enemy record that I got for like $10 at home.
Damn. So you're gonna just try to flip that?
I'm trying to flip it, but I'm also trying to be creative and be like, hey, what do I do? Because I'm like selling I already sold some of my Legos and made $500 off of that.
Damn, that's good.
Well, because a lot of that was what I got from when I was 12.
Yeah.
Like aunts and uncles sending you shit, and then I'm like, I don't need this stuff. Like, let's send it.
Yeah.
But I have like a ton of brooders that I have from when I was 12.
Yeah.
Like that stuff, they want it with the box and they'll pay you $100.
So you are. It seems like you love the reselling aspect. You like something for a cheap price and selling it for more.
Like I'll go to estate sales too and try to find things that are like cheap.
So there's like those Gary Vee videos and it's like haggling over selling it to then trying to.
Have you seen that when he goes, I said, brother, you need to pay me money and shit. I'm like, what? But I know that I don't mean to cut us off, but I know that I have 4 minutes. But kind of on a final note, investing talk, but also personal. How do you think your relationship? Because I watch How to Beast, and he talks about maybe you know who he is.
Maybe yeah.
And he talks about like you and the other person growing. How do you see that as kind of happening? Like
being in a relationship and growing with someone.
Yeah, well that, but also them pushing you and you're pushing the other person, but you two also being like either a power couple or whatever.
Yeah, it just comes. I truthfully think it comes down. I didn't expect to be in a relationship right now. Truthfully, it's more. I just kept hanging out with her. I thought she was unique. I still think she's unique, and I just ended up falling in love with her. So now we're in a relationship, and I'm happy for that. But I would say, unless you have that specific scenario, nobody should be in a relationship. That's not true. Most men should not be in a relationship at this age, and they should just be focusing on themselves. However, stuff does happen, and it's the situation where I understand that same port towards myself, but I do love being with her, so I'm gonna be with her. But I mean, yeah, I think most men should not be in relationships and just focus on themselves physically, mentally, develop all the tools and the characteristics, and then once you're in a place to where you can now financially support yourself and maybe somebody else, then sure, yeah, go for it. But I think it's good, but at the same time, just gotta focus on yourself. At the end of the day, if that person doesn't correspond with your values, then it's not the right fit. So yeah, that's kind of how I view it.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because some people, they only look at it as, hey, I'm giving this person money, or I'm buying this person stuff. And I think part of it is it has to be a co-tandem, meaning you both want to work towards the same thing.
I agree.
Like, if you want to start a company, she has to push you and be like, all right, let's start this company, let's get it off the ground. Versus if it's just on you, then you're like, why do I have her, you know?
Exactly.
If she's just going to drain my money. Like, even, I don't mean to go a little far, but I was asking girls in, like, June or July, I was, like, texting them out on Snapchat being like, so, you spend a lot of money? I wasn't meaning it in, like, that way, but I'm like, are you the type of girl that goes out and asks for, like, a lot of shit? If you want a Gucci purse or whatever.
Like a gold digger type of.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's okay, but I'm like, I don't need you to be like, hey, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this. Because then I'm going to be like, all right, you're just a burden on me.
Exactly.
You're not getting me to where I want to be.
Exactly.
Which is a problem. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I know we got to wrap it up, so it's a lot of fun.
All right, where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram at Chase_the_Davis on Instagram, and then go look at my bio, go look at what I coach, go look at what I teach. Pretty straight up. So there you go.
And you can find me on McPartland Spencer at McPartland Spencer is my Instagram. And episode number 9 just got dropped on Apple and Spotify, so go check it out. I might drop this on Friday. I've been working it on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. I don't know.
Do you think we can get this one out earlier?
I can try, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear this back.
I can try.
Definitely, yeah.
All I do is I do it through Riverside, and I just take the file, and then I cut it, and then I put an intro and an outro, and that's it, and then I just publish it.
Let's try to get this one out.
I can do that.
Like tomorrow night, this is the amazing to listen to.
All right, that was episode number 10, and just want to say thank you, Chase, for coming on.
Of course.
And I think we should probably do part two or whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.